Today we're doing the third and final phase of processing the flax, which is combing the flax. And what we have here are the flax combs. They usually would come in a pair, and this particular type is German origin. German immigrants made these. This one is dated 1771, and many times it have the name of the farmer printed on the comb. And this is how they work. After scutching or scraping the flax, it's ready to be combed. It's tangled, and what you do is lay the flax in the combs, there we go. The reason you need a larger comb is when you have a big tangle of flax, it's easier for that to be pulled out without ripping all the flax apart. And what I'm producing here in the combs is called tow flax. That makes a coarse linen, makes tow rope. What I have in my hand, this will produce the fine linen, shirts and bedding. I'm separating the short fibers of the plant from the long fibers. And I'm also straightening all of the fibers. The fibers have to be very clean, and they have to be separated for a good spinning. So when you pull the flax from the distaff, you won't get a big clump. This is a very important part of flax production. It's cleaning and combing the flax. You can see you get a lot of tow flax. The plant produces about 10% flax fiber, and of that 10%, 7% will be the short tow fiber. Then you'll have 3% to work with to make your fine linens. Now we go to the finer comb. This comb continues to pull out the short fibers of flax, and it also straightens the flax. And once this flax is combed, it needs to be stored away, because spinning of flax was usually done in the winter time, or a time when all of the farm chores were done. So you have to save this long, lustrous flax from getting tangled. And the way you do that is to make a little twist. You find the center of the flax like that. Keep twisting it until it flips around, makes a head, like that. And then you start braiding, only you have 2 ends instead of 3. You have to hold the flax with your thumb, turn in the same direction as you go down. Keep turning one end then the other, holding the flax with your thumb. You see what's happening? It's beginning to twist into a little strict. This is a wonderful way of keeping your flax from getting damaged. When you come to the end, put a little glue on there, twist it around. There we go. And you end up with a strict. This is a bundle of flax. This particular one represents 1/4 of an acre of flax. It's very dense when it's twisted into a bundle, but you can see how little of the fine flax you get, so it really has to last a long, long time. One of the fairly common ones is the English style. This has the large comb and the smaller comb put into one board. Unlike the German comb, they didn't have any metal wrapped around the board before the nails are put through. And these nails are drawn wire. They're drawn through a hole in a piece of iron, and then they were sharpened to a point. The problem with putting the nails through wood without putting a band of metal is it tends to decay over time when it gets damp. Now, all of these combs had lids at one time. This one still has its lid. This is another English style. This one has the square nails, but it doesn't have the iron band wrapped around the wood. It does have slots where screws are put in, and this could be attached to a bench like these were. This is a very old comb from the mid-1700s. It's a fine Germanic style flax comb. To make the comb fine, the nails were bent, so when you look down on the comb, there's a very dense layer of nails there. And on the other side, it's a fairly rough job of putting all of the nails through. But what the blacksmith found was, in order to make all these even on top, some of these had to be a little bit longer on the bottom. This is a dual-purpose comb. It has metal on the top, and the size and weight of this was suitable for hemp manufacture besides flax. Many farmers grew the hemp and the flax together, and this type of comb would service both. This is from a Swedish settlement in the colonies, and it's a round comb. This was a religious symbol for Swedes to use a circle, and there'd be a band of metal, and they'd put all the small square nails in the center. There's not a band of iron on the back, and the wood has decayed. This one comes from Sweden itself. And you notice a hole in the bottom. Put your foot through the hole. Take some flax. And this is combed towards you. And the most interesting comb we have is one that's made completely out of wood. This is from a village in Lithuania. It has a small toe hole. You take your flax, and even though it's not metal, it had a very tiny toe here. I can hardly get mine in there. You can still comb the flax. They didn't use metal for this because they didn't have any. Many of the villages were quite poor, and a simple farmer would use whatever he had handy. So he made his own comb completely out of wood, drilling a hole to put the dowels in and shaping the pieces of wood to a point. We often wondered how many combs a farmer might have. This particular one was found on the bench. You have a larger comb and a smaller comb. And this bench was used solely for the purpose of processing flax. This larger bench, this is a traveling bench. The legs just pop out, and the piece of wood on top comes off the bench and is stored in the barn, and then the bench can be used for other purposes.